All right. Okay, I think we are good to begin. Hope you guys can hear me clearly. If you can, if you cannot, please let me know. We still have a few moms joining in. I hope you guys are okay with just one more minute, or but in the meantime, I am so happy that you guys were able to get some time to join us, and just also to let you know that the meeting is being recorded. So from now on, we'll ensure all our webinars are recorded, and we'll share with you in the groups afterwards. But that's not, a reason not to be here. We really want to keep it as interactive as possible, as engaging as possible. So feel free to raise your hand, have your camera on, ask us a question in person. We'd really appreciate to hear how you guys are doing, how your day has been, how you see this topic as we try to go deeper into it. I think moving forward we will try to find ways to make sure that you're as engaged as possible in the webinar. But for today, if you have any question and you want to talk to us, just have your camera on. Even if this topic I think affects more of the moms who have kids right now. And so if you're at home with your baby, again, we can always say hi. So that's awesome. Before we begin, I'd just like to introduce our expert for today, Nas Asha. Nas Asha, do you want to say something?
Hi, good evening, ladies. What more to say? This is Asha. I'm glad to be here and share with you all, guys. Welcome to the webinar. Probably there are new moms here. I'm a midwife. Yes, I've noticed we have new moms, so just not to assume. My name is Asha. I'm a nurse midwife. I'm also a lactation specialist. I'm a birth doula and childbirth educator.
All
Yes,
right.
and it's very to share this information and at least improve, like, I would say it's like make it simpler for you. Like, if we can be able to simplify every mom's parenthood journey, then why not? We are here to assist each other. We don't have to go what I went through, what Milka went through. No, 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 no. We can make it better for you.
All right. I think before we even continue, we have Nitsa asking that she's not yet a mom. Yes, I mean, for me, it's never too early to start preparing. So if you, sorry, someone's trying to call me. So it's never too early. Like, even if you've not delivered yet, I don't think it harms or it does any harm to arm yourself with as much knowledge as possible, so that by the time you do deliver and you start going through these stages, you at least know something and you're able to supplement. So yeah, if you are not a mom yet and you have not delivered yet, this is still important for you. It just makes you prepare for when that time comes. So I am hoping that you'll get out of this place a little bit more knowledgeable than when you came in. And yeah, because we do not have a lot of time, my name is Milka, and I will be moderating it today. And so, just a brief introduction. Today, we are going to be talking about growth spurts. I think right now, hi Clara, I can see you. Your camera is off again, but it was so nice to see you for that brief period. Yeah, so we'll be discussing growth spurts and talking about what are growth spurts, what causes growth spurts, how do you recognize when your child is going through a growth spurt, and how are you able to support your baby through these different stages of growth. And at the same time, how do you keep your sanity as a parent? Because yeah, sometimes some of these developmental stages can be hectic and you feel like, okay, what am I doing wrong, or what do I need to do? So how do you make sure you also keep your sanity, so that you are able to help your baby more and you're able to be okay as a mom as well. And today, like I mentioned beforehand, we are going to do it a bit differently from the other webinars. So previously, we've been opening up directly with the Q&A where you guys ask the questions. But today, I was hoping Nas Asha will take us through just a few things about growth spurts to give us some knowledge on it for 15 minutes, and then we will open up the floor for a Q&A session. So basically we will go through just a definition of what growth spurt actually is, to separate the myth from the fact, teach you how to recognize the signs in your baby, how to support your child, and the impact of growth spurts, because they are there. And I hope this works for you guys. After she finishes taking us through that, then we'll open the floor for Q&A. So if you have a notebook, you can date it. If you want to record with your phone, that's still okay. As much as this webinar will be recorded, you can just get some knowledge from Nas Asha, so that as she speaks, if you have a question, any follow-up, I would suggest we wait, and then we open now the floor to the Q&A session, and she'll be able to answer anything that you have. I hope this is okay with everyone. If this works for you, just give again a thumbs up, or a what is it, a hand. All right. Okay, so without wasting any more time, okay, I see you guys. Jesse, Becca, that's awesome. So Nas Asha, I think the floor is yours. If you can just give us a brief lesson on what growth spurts are, so that by the time now moms are asking questions, we have some little bit of background knowledge.
Yeah, okay. I'm almost certain, almost a big number of us have heard about a growth spurt, already have an idea what is a growth spurt. So basically, what I'm just trying to do is simplify the information, or try rather to simplify that information, and probably share among ourselves. Probably what I've experienced is not what Mary has experienced, Rebecca, or for the
Top text.
I'm sure if you're already home with your child, they should be maybe a week or so old. So basically, generally babies grow very fast, but a growth spurt is where they have a more rapid growth, and this is measured by an increase in height and weight. And generally, for the first year of life, okay, generally children have this even until puberty, but the major one happens below 1 year, around 1 year and a half. That's where we have the major growth spurt happening. And in the first year of life, it can happen at several stages. And the most common stages that we know are between the 2 weeks, 2 weeks, around 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Then we have 6 weeks, 6 weeks, then 3 months, then 6 months, then 9 months, and a year and a half. These are the major ones for the small children for 1 year and a half. And then, of course, going forward as they become uh, adolescents, there's still other growth spurts that we'll encounter in their life. So we're just focusing for the one of under 1 year. How to recognize your baby is having a growth spurt is you will notice probably under 2 weeks. You might not have already have an established, let's say, a sleeping pattern, but you notice there's something off. Maybe the baby is faster than before, or they want to feed more often, which we call the cluster feeding, and probably they are they want more soothing, they want you to hold them more, and sometimes it becomes tiring even for you as the mother. So you will notice, for the do's, what when you recognize these signs that the baby is beginning to have a growth spurt, there's nothing much you can do about it but embrace it. For example, if the baby wants to feed more often, by all means, please feed this baby as often as they can. Let's say, for a newborn, we say that your establishment of breast milk to the baby's requirement is within the first 3 weeks. This is to mean by the first 3 weeks, your baby has established the amount of milk that they will need to have them full. Okay. Sometimes I know we say you can continue increasing your breast milk going forward, but the first 3 weeks is very key. So if you have your baby, I'm assuming probably we have moms who have older babies than 0 to 3 weeks. If your baby is within 0 to 3 weeks, the more you cluster feed, the more your baby makes more milks for this baby. So by all means, please cluster feed, and it can become a bit tiring for you. So let's say they start this behavior more towards the evening. You notice that your baby becomes more fussier towards the evening, and your milk supply reduces more towards the evening. And during the morning hours, the baby is okay, a bit settled, happy. But as the evening comes, and normally for any of us having spent the whole day with the baby, by evening you're kind of tired. This is the time you want to sleep more. So if you notice this trend for 1 day, 2 days, then just know you're heading to the growth spurt session, and you can hack your life. You can say maybe in the morning when your milk flow is quite a lot and baby is not finishing, you can express for a top up in the evening, maybe after a bath. So you see, this one will buy you more time, like when baby is tanked up, is a bit fuller than usual. And you see, you'll have taken the high supply that you have during the morning hours to supplement the evening when your supply is a bit lower. So this is what happens. It's not like happening to, just know it happens to most of us. This is what happens. Um, about the sleepiness, if your baby is below 6 weeks, and growth spurt should not worry you because it's a thing that happens a couple of 2 to 3 days a week maximum. To most babies, by a week, they're back to their normal routine, happy babies, and all. So, if your baby is below 6 weeks, as much as they are a bit fussy, their sleep is disrupted, please, babies get tired very quickly. If a baby below 6 weeks is awake more than an hour, this baby is already tired, is overstimulated, and will be so hard to put them to sleep. So, as much as they want to be held so much, want to sleep, to cluster feed for many, for longer time, be time them. If you realize it's going to an hour and they're still not like in the drowsy end of going them to sleep, you can switch the environment, like so that you're not in a stimulating environment. You can dim the lights if it's at night, if it's in the day, go to a quiet environment. And you don't have to literally put them to close their eyes, but change the environment so that they're able to relax and eventually fall asleep. Because if this baby stays awake longer, then they become harder to put to sleep. And now this is where the struggle comes. Because if I'm feeding a baby who is so alert and they're just, you see, I might not realize it's been an hour and this baby is past their sleep time, is past their wake time. I could be tempted to continue, and I'm chapping story, I'm watching TV, it is very loud. The more I'm stimulating this baby. And the more 2 hours are going by, the harder it will become to put this baby to sleep. So you realize, ukishapita 2 3 hours, then tuko the other end of very hard to put this baby to sleep. And this is how exhaustion checks in. So even if you have visitors, please don't entertain them too much to the, to break that 1 hour, that 1 hour period for the babies. Babies below 3 months, if your baby is around the age of 3 months, you have an allowance of 2 hours. 2 hours, by the time 2 hours are elapsing, you're already setting a pace for putting down this baby to sleep. So if you realize they're still again awake, the same way, change the environment. You can even tie the baby to yourself. The wraps, you can wrap the baby, make them feel comforted and soothed so that they can sleep. Um, Another thing, of course, for you, you can ask help to make it easier for you. You don't have to be the one running around at this period of the growth spurt. You can have someone else assist in the cooking, in doing other things, and even holding the baby at some point. Yes, and the good thing about the growth spurt, it helps the baby grow. And even other than increasing your milk supply for the baby, the milk composition of the baby, your milk composition also changes. And the more you place the baby on the breast, the more they tell the body what they need. The more you're producing more fat, the more you're producing more calories to support this growth spurt. Of course, for growth spurt, we need the fats, we need the calories. And as much as probably past 3 months, the amount might not increase, the volume of the milk might not increase, but the composition will change. So either way, that cluster feeding has an importance in it. Don't say like, I'm not trying to increase my milk supply, so I will not accommodate this baby wanting to feed on and off, on and off. It is okay. It has its purpose. It's like how nature designed it to be. Yes. I don't know what else. Milka,
Yeah, no, I think
assist,
you.
don't guide.
Yeah, I think you've taken us through the basics,
Yeah,
and this should now put us in a position where moms can ask some questions. And I even see on our chat section. By the way, guys, if you have a question, you can raise your hand, and I'll give you, a chance to ask, or you can just tap it in. Oh, it's nice to have some cameras on. Hi, Abby. Hi, Elizabeth. So nice for you guys to join us. Good, seeing you guys here. Yeah, if you have your cameras on, that's okay. Let's keep it as interactive as possible. All right, so we do have a lady, Doreen. She asked, my baby is 1.2, and from Saturday he cries at night, no more continuous sleep. Expound this growth spurt, please. Is this a growth spurt? What could be the problem? Considering you say it's around 2 to 3 days it lasts. What do you think this could be?
a week. So I'm assuming this is 1.2 months.
Yes, 1.2 months. And from Saturday, he cries at night. He's no longer sleeping continuously. I'm guessing he used to sleep continuously before. And now it's kind of like he's experiencing that sleep interruption and cries. Is this a growth spurt? If it is, what is it? Like, how can we help this mom?
Because it might not be a growth spurt,
Mhm.
because again, growth spurt is around 2 to 3 weeks.
Mm,
We have another, okay, depending, some literatures really like interchange this, and you find others saying 3 to 4 months, but around 3 to 4 weeks, 3 months. You see, now this is a 1.2-month-old baby.
mm,
They are past that age of the
yeah,
growth spurt.
yeah.
I would say she a few things that the ring you can check about is see what has changed.
Mm,
Because today is Wednesday. You know, those are several days. That is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. In 3 days, you could realize something has changed. Either maybe your supply of milk, how is it? Is it the same way? Is the baby breastfeeding as usual, the 20, at least 20 minutes on one breast? Are you switching the breasts so quickly before the baby gets the hind milk that puts them to sleep longer? You see, the more you empty one breast completely and the baby gets to the fats that keep the baby asleep longer and fuller, then they get the continuous sleep. And I don't know by continuous sleep if you mean, because I would want to know, does the baby wake up after an hour, 2 hours? You know, there is also the normal waking hours of a
mm,
baby. Maybe they wake up after every 2 to 3 hours, which usually for a 1.2 month is okay. 3 hours, 2 hours, depending on how long they're on the breast and how full they are before they go to sleep. Have
okay.
you changed maybe a bath time? Environment, is it the same environment? Is it colder? You see, the season is also changing.
Yeah.
Maybe you used to sleep in a vest, but the weather has changed now. Maybe you need to dress the baby a bit warmer, or are they too hot? You know, again, the weather can change, and you change too much. You know, now you
Yeah.
overdress, so you can overdress the baby. There are a couple of reasons. Is the baby okay? Are they unwell? Do they have a fever? You know, yourself, how are you physically? How are your emotions?
Mm,
Is there anything that has switched on your beat? Like, are you stressed? Are you okay? Is it anything that is going on? You realize the environment surrounding the baby, they don't know how to say, like, I know mom is having a bad day and I'll get over it. No, they suck in that energy and makes it their own, and it will come out in different ways. They can be inconsolable, cry, fussy. Yes, so a couple of things for you to think about there, Doreen. And it's actually a phase, it's a moment, it's a
yeah.
season, and be surprised, baby will just get out of it without even having changed anything. So
Okay.
maybe a little more candles, maybe.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask if Doreen, you're comfortable just speaking. You don't have to have your camera on because you have raised some questions that, considering this is not really the time that the children go through growth spurts at that specific age, maybe there's something that has changed in her routine. I don't know if Doreen, you're comfortable just talking to Nurse Asha right now and explaining, has anything changed at all? Is it like the feeding pattern, maybe the environment that the baby is in? Now it's no longer something has changed. Your diet, his diet. What is that? Is that something you're comfortable explaining more, or are you satisfied with Nurse Asha's answer? Because I feel like maybe you could just shed some more light, because there were some questions that she asked in terms of maybe there is a bit of change that has warranted this. What do you think, Nurse Asha?
Yeah, if again, if maybe you see, if we could know if there's any change, we can know which direction to go.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, 1 year. Oh, 1 year, 2 months, baby. I thought you're talking
Oh,
about
okay. Oh,
1.2.
yeah. Yeah, one
No.
point. I was, I think we were looking at a month old. Okay, now that clarifies.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, so she's saying it's 1 year, 2 months, no fever, no wet diapers. He keeps waking up and crying, then sleeps for like an hour, then wakes up again. Okay, so does this change things a little bit?
1 year, actually, there's a growth spurt around 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
but this is 1 year, 2 months. And again, how is the feeding?
Okay.
A 1 year, 2 months old baby could be getting 3 full meals and around 3 snacks.
And that's in addition to breastfeeding.
So that's in addition to breastfeeding.
Mm-hmm.
If probably you are not giving a snack, you can give a snack, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe depending on the time that baby goes to sleep, you can do a later a later on, like dinner. Like give
Oh,
a
yeah,
snack at
yeah.
6 p.m. and give dinner at maybe 9. You see,
Yeah,
so
that.
that they have, depending on the time of the sleeping. So you adjust it according to what time you put the baby to sleep. Because
Okay.
baby is okay, no wet diapers, he keeps waking up and cry, then sleeps for like an hour, and then wakes up and again and cry. Next time he wakes up and cry, actually try feeding him.
Instead of
You can even
breastfeeding.
do a bottle. If you give milk, yeah, you can give milk and see the difference instead of breastfeeding.
Okay, so
Mm,
Doreen, I hope that helps clarify a bit. Like try and increase the feedings, because I do, like, I see more research and medics say that even with growth spurts, frequent feedings are now more kind of required during that phase. So try and see if that
mm,
will work for you so that the baby is fuller when they are going to sleep. Please
mm,
let us know if that helps. But I would
mm.
like us to move on to another question. Doreen, let us know again if that is something that satisfies you. If not, again, we can still follow up later, and as Asha is within the groups, and you can also just chat her up and see if we can offer additional help. I hope that is okay. Okay, so we have not Jacqueline. Jacqueline, yes, Jacqueline Zhao. Does mixing breastfeeding and bottle feeding in the early days cause nipple confusion? So she's not yet a mom, and this is not about growth spurts, but I think this is something we can easily tackle. So when you mix during the early days of the infant stage, when you do both bottle feeding and nipple feeding, does that cause confusion?
Yes and no. It depends on at what point of the baby's life do you introduce the bottle. You
Mm,
see, we say the first 2 weeks, if the baby has had a well established lactation. When I say well established lactation, I mean this is a baby who is comfortably breastfeeding, is getting milk from the breast, you're comfortable yourself, you're not in any pain, you do not have cracks, and you've hacked the mastery of breastfeeding. I would
mm,
say mastery because you master around 6 weeks. 6 weeks is when you master
mm,
breastfeeding, yani unatoa hivi mnashika na mnaendelea na life.
yeah.
But if by weeks, earlier than 2 weeks, I would really discourage a lot. But in 2 weeks,
Mm,
if it is necessary that you give the bottle, and baby has had a good sessions of latching, baby is able to latch probably on the breast, you yourself, you're comfortable with the breastfeeding, yeah, you can introduce a bottle.
mm,
And if you want to delay the bottle, but you want someone else to feed the baby, you can do a cup. Nowadays, there's the Nifty cup, which is very easy to give milk in. It's silicone, you just press and baby just licks from it. Yeah, so yeah. So it depends. It depends, Zoe. It depends.
Yeah.
how
Okay.
your baby, how you will. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I hope that answers you, Jacqueline. So from 2 weeks onwards, here you can start introducing it a little bit, and even for me, actually, the cup worked really. When my baby was an infant, the nurses, when I delivered, they taught me how to use the cup, and that's what I used like for the first, I think, 1 month, and the baby would still just feed from the cup before I then introduced the bottle. So, Jacqueline, I hope that answers your question. And then we have L.
Just to add a bit,
Okay.
you see, Milka, sometimes I say
Mhm.
you really might not know how what will happen. We assume breastfeeding is very natural, it will come naturally,
Mhm.
baby will feed, you'll be able to hack it. But you realize you go in there and baby comes and it takes a while to get them to latch on the breast. You yourself probably you have some difficulties and somehow the baby has to feed.
Yeah.
I would really encourage that if this situation comes, that there's a struggle, but baby has to be fed by any other way,
Mhm.
please opt for the cup. Please opt for the cup. If you're even able to get the Nifty cup and carry it to hospital, you can. It is okay because it will really not sabotage your breastfeeding journey. But the bottle can very quickly sabotage the breastfeeding journey. And babies know, they know the difference of the texture of the bottle and the difference of the texture of the nipple, and they know which one works quickly and which one I have to work harder. But with just the nipple texture, they will not get confused because, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's very enlightening, actually. All right. Jacqueline, I hope we've tried to comprehensively cover that. Okay, so we have L. I'm not sure what L stands for, but it's great to have your question. Could you share more about age and appropriate awake windows? I'm guessing she means like the periods that the baby is supposed
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be awake versus age. And maybe here, as Asha, I usually see you have lots of good material and charts that share this because it might be a bit
Yeah,
also hard to go through all the ages. I'm trying to imagine. So I don't know if you have this
yeah,
on hand.
probably
Yeah.
I don't have it on hand, but just to mention,
Mhm.
we can mention probably up to like let's say from zero to 3 months, thereabout, we would say at least 45 minutes to 1 hour.
Mm.
But 6 weeks sana sana, please let it be 1 hour. 1 hour. And
And
like
that,
I said, if you realize sometimes the baby can be, it's going to the end of 1 hour and the baby is still like super alert and awake,
yeah.
change the environment for them. It's the same, the stimulation of the environment really
Mm.
counts a lot. The lighting, the noise, the
Yeah.
music, it counts a lot to putting the baby to rest. For around 3 to 4 months, we can say 1 hour to 1.5 hours. So maybe 1 hour and a half to 2 hours at most. Three to 4 months. 4 to 6 months, at least 2 hours. Two
Okay.
hours. Ukienda is repeated 3 hours.
So basically, this is the period between naps, right?
Be- between between baby waking up,
Yeah.
having a diaper change,
Mhm.
breastfeeding, back and back to sleep.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
So, ladies, I think I just found some information on that, and I'm going to basically what Nas Asha said, but just something in just in case you can save it. I don't know if I'm able to upload. Okay, I can't upload
Yeah,
an
maybe you
image
can
here, but
share it
what I'll do
as
is
well because you see,
sorry.
yeah, as you upload, I just wanted to continue saying that between the ages of 0 to 3, early days of life, babies sleep a lot. Like
Mm,
we expect them to sleep 17 hours, 14, 17 hours, thereabout. You realize if you take up more of this time during the awake period and we just have 24 hours, you're left with very less hours for the baby to sleep. That's why we insist on being keen to check on the time when the baby wakes up and you're putting them back to sleep.
okay, so I have shared that information and also pinned the message. So if you just go to our chat section for this webinar, the pinned message is now the periods between nap hours. I hope that information is correct, Nas Asha.
Oh yeah, I'll check on it. I'll check.
Okay.
I'll
All
check.
right. So we can move on to the next question again from L. what observations in this process would warrant going to see the pediatrician? I actually had a similar question come in that, hey, during growth spurts, what should you be on the lookout for? Like, yeah, this is now getting dangerous. I've had some people saying the baby is feverish and all that. So at what point do you say this is no longer, like something you can handle at home? You need to go see a doctor.
Yeah. So first things is know the danger signs.
Mm-hmm.
They're the danger signs that we look at with a growth spurt or no growth spurt
Mm.
is fever. And by what we mean by fever, fever is something that you can take maybe an hour or two. Okay, 2 hours is a lot, but within an hour, you'll have established truly this
Mm.
is a true fever or not true fever.
Mm.
Why I'm saying true fever is because sometimes you may realize the baby is having fever because they had or two jackets or
Yeah.
they're overdressed.
Yeah.
So basically, if you have a temperature anything that is 7.5 and above, and you've probably checked the baby and you're like, enyewe hata kama hapa overdress. So you maybe lighten the dressing, you take the temperature again, probably in 20 minutes, and it's still that it's 7.5 or even has gone higher,
Mm.
then you start preparing on having the baby checked because there's a reason why the baby is having a fever. Another thing is refusal to feed. The baby refuses to feed. Like from the beginning, you will know when your baby is feeding well by the and we say a baby, to know that your baby is feeding well, they must be awake and alert.
Mm.
We don't want a baby who is sleepy on the breast because we won't know if
Yeah.
this baby is really having effective over of milk to them. Are they getting this milk to them or not? Because they are asleep. But when a baby is alert and awake, you can tell you have a moment of interaction with this baby while they're breastfeeding. So if your baby is too sleepy on the breast, hard to arouse to wake up, like unamwamsha amki, completely amki. I know newborns 0 to 2 weeks have this behavior, but still you'll get them to wake up somehow. Yes, maybe we can do that waking up another day. Okay, simply you can reduce the clothing, you can change their diaper. If you're on a flat surface, you can roll them from side to side, gently, side to side. There's a way you can stimulate them, tug their ear, their foot, you rub their foot, and you realize this baby wakes up. But if they don't, yeah, start now
Going
maybe
to.
preparing
Yeah.
to take them to hospital. Yes, another thing is how many, especially the newborns, we say we have you can't really tell a breastfeeding babies. Yes, you can tell by weighing how much they're getting in, but you can check the number of diapers that you're changing. So if we are day 3 of life, we expect to have 3 fully soaked diapers. If you're past a week, we expect 10, 7, 10 fully soaked diapers. If you realize your every diaper change you're changing is dry, completely dry, or very little urine, it means baby is not getting in. And it can be a reason for fever. Fever can be caused by dehydration. That's why we are saying fever, there's a reason. And one reason is dehydration. And cause of dehydration is baby is not getting enough milk. How
Mm.
do you know baby is not getting enough milk? Baby is very sleepy on the breast. Baby is not having any urine output. Those are the signs. Or is completely refusing to feed. He is awake, but they are not feeding. So sometimes they can be unwell and they're not able, they do not even have the energy to feed. Another thing is you have fed the baby. Baby is happy, is changed. Baby is completely like from your where you've done everything as a mother for
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
baby. Yeah? Diaper, ako in the right temperature, ako full, ameoga, but this baby is inconsolable, is crying a lot, like inconsolable. Then you can go to the pediatrician. Sometimes it is okay for someone else to tell you, baby is okay, let's observe it, itaisha. But usikae wewe kwa nyumba, a
Mm-hmm.
baby who is having this inconsolable cry. I would rather you go and you have a colic diagnosis done. Sometimes we want sometimes you could, because we have a lot of information on our side,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we might tend to make the diagnosis ourselves. Hata kama we know colic is out here and how it happens, sometimes it is okay to go to a healthcare, akwambie yenyewe hata mi venye naona this is colic, because sometimes you may realize it's not even colic, it could be something else and you assumed it is colic. So if baby has this an inconsolable cry and all the checks you've done ziko sawa, then it's okay to go have the baby checked. Better safe than not.
Uh,
Other sign observation that would warrant you to go see the pediatrician. Yeah, basically those are the danger signs. And
okay.
of course, if the baby has a fall, the obvious things,
Yeah.
Baby has injury, vitu kama hizo.
Okay. All right. Elle, I hope those answers are, that answers your question about what should warrant you to see a pediatrician. So, those are some of the danger signs that you need to be on the lookout for when your baby is going through growth spurts. And I think the next question from Leah is almost similar, I think, to what Doreen asked. My baby turns months on Sunday. Leah, maybe you can just include how many months exactly, because then this does not really give us the information. But he's changed his sleep pattern and wakes up more at night, and struggles to nap from Monday. Is it a 3 month growth spurt already? Okay, so how old did your baby, or is your baby turning on Sunday? Is it 3 months? I think I'm not so sure on that. If you could maybe help clarify a little
Oh,
bit.
I think probably she's saying on Sunday the baby will be turning 3 months. So is it already the growth part? Yeah, it could
Yeah.
be it.
Oh, okay.
It could be it. He's changed his sleep pattern and wakes up more at night and struggles to nap from Monday, more at night. Also, how is your milk supply towards the night? Is it as usual? Is it like it is during the day? And more at night and struggles to nap from Monday. Nap now is more of the daytime
Ah, okay.
because we don't nap at night. At night we sleep.
All right. Okay.
Eh, well, like it's a 3 month growth. Yeah, it could be a 3 month growth spurt, but just observe your baby and see what is happening, and then look around. Is it your supply that has gone low for 3 months? Sometimes your
It
supply
is.
can be
Yeah.
going low.
Yeah.
Are you gone back to work? Sometimes you may realize could
Mm.
be you've gone back to work. Maybe the milk that you expressed was probably that was given more in the towards the evening was more a lot of the foie milk that did not have more calories, more fat to put baby to make baby full, and now you're here and they want to feed more. So yeah, it could be a couple of things, and if it's about
Okay. All right. So it's possible that that's a
the
growth
top up
spurt.
now with milk that you've expressed. Yeah.
Okay.
It could be possible to a growth spurt, and
Yes. So no, no, no. I think
the
I lost you
napping
for
you
a
can
minute.
change environment.
Ah. Okay. Phoebe, you have
No,
your
I'm
hand
saying about
raised.
the
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I think I'm cutting you off. I'm not sure if it's my network. Just a second. Sorry about that. I hope you guys can hear me. All right. Phoebe, you had your hand raised. I'm guessing maybe that was by mistake, but I think we can move on then. Leah, I hope that answers your question. We have Lifelong. Is it Lifelong or Lifelong? I don't know. The names are so beautiful, but I'm struggling to pronounce. So she says, my baby was excessively fussy at 9 weeks. I started holding her longer to calm her. It worked then. We are now at 11 weeks, and she only sleeps longer when held. How do I reverse the holding her for long? Yeah, this one I think is a very common problem. Asha, what do you think here?
Yeah, it really is. And babies are they are very needy small human beings. Like, and if they can be held forever, they will be like, oh, happy and
Mm.
glad to be held. What you could do, so are you contact sleeping or just holding them to sleep? From what she said, it feels
Holding to
like
sleep.
just holding her longer to calm her.
Yeah.
You worked then, we are now 11 weeks. You can transition from the holding. So usually the idea is don't hold them to completely fall asleep.
Mm.
You hold them and put them down when they are still not in that deep state of sleep. Unaona saa ile bado ako awake but ako sleepy, ako drowsy, and then you can put them to sleep and then you can choose them. You know the way you pat a baby to you soothe, like you can be gently tapping their bum like
Yeah.
ama mgongo too to soothe them to sleep, but you're still there, but you're not literally holding on to them. Also, you can introduce the white noise, make it a routine to have the white noise when they're about to go to sleep. put it on, they'll drift to the listening to the white noise, and you won't have to be always holding them to sleep. Alternatively, you can have someone else when they're about to go to sleep, hold them. You know, unajua wewe you're smelling of milk and they don't want to let you go. You can have someone else put them to sleep so that someone else who is not smelling of milk
Yeah.
can gently put them down to sleep. And still, they do the same thing. They put them to sleep when they're not in that deep state, when they're a bit awake. That way, you might hack it. And woi akipole, where just I see.
Okay.
Phoebe is back again.
Yeah.
So Leah,
All right. I hope that answers you. You have to do that transition, lifelong. We have another question from L. If you bath your baby maybe twice a week, what examples of routines can you have to put your baby to sleep besides breastfeeding before bed? So, what are some of the, effective sleep, something to help your baby sleep better other than breastfeeding them right before bed? And this is a baby
you
who's
could
being bathed twice a week.
twice a week.
Yeah.
So depending on the age of the baby, maybe you can have some. You can have probably a tummy time. An exercise, a game that you play. You can read for the baby, and reading is really not have to be at the older babies. Even small babies, you can read to them. Depending on the age, you can have an appropriate toy and their wake period so that you don't like overdo whatever you're doing. And if I'm assuming bathing does not exclude a massage, right?
Mhm.
So you can have a massage. You can maybe now you can start with a tummy time. You can and have some background music that you put on every other time. You can either have the white noise or a particular music that the baby knows. This music, whenever I hear this music, I play. We have a massage, and then probably I'm put down to sleep.
So basically, what
Yes.
you're saying is, sorry?
So depending on what routine you choose, because you don't want to breastfeed and put them to sleep, so you can either massage them, because now you can't breastfeed and massage; they will vomit.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yes. So, but you see, it's anything that we want to put them that's relaxing. And you have, if you're trying to create a schedule, it really has to be the same time every
Exactly.
day.
Yeah.
They thrive on a routine, same time every day. If this is how you go to the room, it's dim lit, see leo bright light, kesho ni kudark, kesho ni, it has to be consistent. And if it's more of a night, let it be dim, same music, same time, same routine. You either massage, you breastfeed, a bit of maybe you can hold them upright. If they're small babies, to your tummy. If they are older a bit, you can put like a game that you play. You can
Yeah.
show them cards that are black and toys that are black and white and darker colors if you want them to sleep. Because again, too bright, they will be
And they,
overstimulated. And then you just lay them to bed to sleep
awesome
such that breastfeeding is not the last thing that you
that
do.
they do. Okay. I think,
And
yeah.
if they're 3 months and above, if you want more of a sleep training routine, you can have a sleep trainer come in to help.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that helps you. I think for me, what worked the best is, you're not in that position to, or you're not, during those first few days. I think the routine, just like you mentioned, it was, by the time that we're supposed to sleep, all lights are dimmed. Like it's, dim lights. And then for me, it was the choice of solo piano, like solo piano music, a very low volume. So I would put them in their rocker. They are eaten, they are good, then put them on the rocker with very low music, that low piano music, and it was kind of just like routine and dim lights, and then put them on their baby rocker, and that was it. Like you come back and they're asleep. Like it just became a thing. They know they sit on that, they're sleeping, and that music is on, and everything is dim, and no one is there to bother them and walk around and do a lot of things. Just like extremely silent. So apart from the
Wow.
music. So Elle, I hope that helps. And she's also asked if we can repeat on urine output and the normal range. So I think at some point you
Uh,
had talked about how to notice like your baby is dehydrated. You look at the urine output. So what would you say is the
yeah.
normal urine output? How many diaper changes, for example?
So from birth, we of course, even if I say one fully soaked diaper, I don't mean the baby stays the whole day with one diaper. We are accumulating the small urine that they have sued the whole day, because you realize a newborn, you'll have to change very tiny poop, little poops very many times. But when you put that urine that will be in that diaper cumulatively for the whole 24 hours, we will make one fully soaked diaper.
Ah.
And that's why we say day one, day one of life, we want one fully soaked diaper. Day two of life, we want two fully soaked diaper. Remember, they are diapers that we're putting together. So every diaper change that you're throwing away, check. You can feel literally how much this is. If it is completely dry, then you're like, if you have a diaper from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., nah, it's literally almost dry, then we are not doing well in terms of input.
Okay.
Because we say what comes in must comes out. So by day 7, we're expecting to have 7 to 10 fully soaked diapers. You get
Mm.
in 24 hours. And this is a measure that baby is getting enough. And when I say a fully soaked diaper, it's a heavy diaper that you can feel. So as they grow, you'll be able at one time, at one changing session, na feel yenyewe hii diaper iko na susu. And then another way, of course, to know if baby is getting enough is the weight gain.
Mm.
Weight gain, yes.
Okay.
But the most ile yenye uko nayo hapo wewe within your
Yeah.
reach, number of wet diapers that you're changing.
Okay. Okay, so we actually have a follow-up from Elle. She's asking, so it's okay to breastfeed just before bed, or it's better to do something else? I think, Elle, your question you had asked is what to do if you're not breastfeeding if you're not, I mean, washing or bathing the baby every day, you're only bathing them twice a week. What are other things you can do? And we said, massaging the baby works, but it's not good after they breastfeed, because then they will vomit or let out the milk. And so she asked, so it's okay to breastfeed just before bed, or it's better to do something else? I think maybe you need to clarify that.
It's okay definitely to breastfeed before bed. So I wouldn't, maybe there's a reason why you do not want to breastfeed before bed, because we all want a baby who is, full
Mm,
completely, going to bed full, because we assume they will sleep longer. Because you see, if I breastfeed, let's say 30 minutes, before I can do anything with the baby, I'll have to give them time. You see,
mm,
so after feeding, before they go to sleep, Stokotushamal is another 30 minutes.
yeah,
But if I feed them now and put them to sleep, this 30 minutes is used in sleep time.
yeah,
And it depends with the age again and how you reason. Again, I said, learn your baby, your situations, vitu kama hizo. Because you see, probably you don't want to, maybe it's the baby wants to contact feed to sleep. And you're trying to cut short this story of contact feeding to sleep. So
mm,
you see, you can feed and then do an activity and then put them to sleep. If they're the ones who feed and they knock out, you don't have to wake them up to do anything, you put them to sleep. So it depends what precedes which, and what happens if you feed,
okay.
or what has been happening, or what are you trying to change. That
All
is,
right.
are you getting what I'm saying, Milka?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually hoping Elle is getting it as well. So Elle, if you could just, oh yeah, she's saying yes.
Yes. Okay, okay.
Okay, we only
Inaweza
have,
kuwa tricky sana.
yeah, we have 7 minutes to go, so I'll try to get through the next question so that we can finish by 8. Why does my baby have spit up even after burping and staying upright for more than 10 minutes? Second question, how long should the baby stay on tummy time? Because after like 30 seconds, he gets fussy. That's from Jacqueline. So those are two questions. So the baby has
Okay.
spit
So
even
where does
after
baby
burping and staying upright for more than 10 minutes.
they could have overfed. Mm.
That's the
If
most
I might
common
ask,
one, yeah?
that's the most common. And if I might ask, are you having a very, very, very like a very quick letdown? Is your milk ile
A lot, yeah.
ina a lot? Are you having yenye inatoka yenyewe mpaka it makes baby a bit uncomfortable even when they're breastfeeding? Because this is one of the reasons why babies spit.
Mm,
So either you have a very high flow or they're overfeeding. And one reason of overfeeding is that high flow. So
Mm,
no matter how much they try to control the amount that they're getting,
mm.
you're already producing a lot. So they're just taking it even if they want or do not want. So they will burp and still remove some. And if they're removing, we want to know, is it after every feed? You get. So I
Hmm.
would want Jackie, as you're talking, tell me if you're having a very high flow so that I can tell you what to do.
Yeah, I think she answered. Yeah,
Yes.
she said
And
yes.
is
It
it after
chokes the
every
baby.
exhibit?
I think she's saying her milk is
Yeah.
a lot. She just said yes. It chokes the baby sometimes. Um,
Yeah.
and it's after
And
every
this is
meal.
the reason.
Yeah. So is there
And you
something
know,
she
babies
can do?
can yes, you can change the breastfeeding position.
Ah. Do
I
you
don't know
have
if
your
you would be able to see my
your
book.
breastfeeding toy?
Yeah, I have. Not even a toy. There's a picture I want to show you.
Okay.
See if I'll get it. But the point is, you can reduce, you can have the baby
Mm.
breastfeed, like they are placed on you like this. Let me show you that picture. Let me show you. For a very high lesson is to show you a picture. You just place the baby like on top of you so that they have more control of getting the milk out other than the milk just flowing into her. We can also express a bit before breastfeeding to reduce the amount. Just that. Let's look at so many pictures.
Okay. Or maybe is it something we can share in the groups after the webinar? Like when you get you can take your time after the
You
webinar,
can
find the
share.
picture. Yeah, and then we can just share it in all the groups.
I want to, yeah, it is a very well illustrated picture. It's
Yeah.
how you make the baby like to just be placed on top of you like this, such that they have more control of your milk flow. Also, a side lying position,
Oh, so
such that there is no much gravity.
what's the name of
You
that
know, gravity
position?
in our kidney.
Sorry?
It's a reclined position, reclined.
Reclined
You
position.
just lay back like this and place the baby on top of you.
All right.
But that picture is, I'll send you that picture. Also, a side lying position will help because now it will reduce the gravity.
Ah, okay.
So mtoto hatachukua maziwa mingi. You can also do a scissor,
Mm.
but when you scissor, remember to achilia. You know, when I say scissor is when you cut the ducts.
Mm.
Unafinya
You cut off
kidogo. Ni
the
kama the
flow.
pipes
Yeah.
that bring the milk, you cut off a bit. You
Mm.
cut off a bit. And also, is your baby gaining weight okay? If they're gaining weight okay, and the speed ups are not like every other time, they're not fussy, baby is okay, is happy even after the speed up, then it could be the high flow of the milk.
Okay.
And even the bathroom will not help it. And then that high flow can also make them swallow air.
All right. I would.
And sometimes they
Mhm.
refuse to breastfeed. Sorry, wacha sitaki isiende huko sana. Second
Yeah,
question
yeah, I know. I would
ilikuwa
also like to keep us on time because
how
I'm seeing
long?
people are starting to
Let
drop
me tell
off.
you.
Yeah.
After like 30, sorry, after like
Seconds.
30 seconds,
They get fussy
fussy.
on tummy time.
Let the baby lead you. If he gets fussy, just pick him up.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think that's a
Tomorrow it will
perfect
be a
answer.
minute, next day 2 minutes. So just let the baby be.
All right. Okay. So I think we can move on to the second last question. Yeah. My baby cries a lot when dressing her, be it after bath or even changing clothes when she has wet or pooped on them. I put heater on when it's cold. She can be playing. Then I put heart on. She cries. It started around 5 weeks. We are 7 weeks on Friday. Is it a growth spurt? She isn't hurt physically because when I carry her or breastfeed her, she's okay. Could this be a growth spurt? Like she cries when she's being dressed.
No, it's a preference.
It's a
It's a
they just like
dislike.
being naked.
And most babies are like this.
Yeah, that's
Maybe you can make a nice stimulating environment and probably do it a bit faster.
can I
You
just
can put a music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I
say
say
it.
something based on experience? Yeah. So I have an autistic child, and
Mhm.
during those first few months, we didn't know he had autism. He'd not been diagnosed yet. So apparently, there was a time when he just couldn't like stand clothes, and he would cry a lot, and it would just be too much. So come now later on, we realized it was the fabric. Like there were some clothes you would put him in, and he's comfortable, but there are some he will
Yes.
cry. But
Yes.
for those periods when he refused to wear clothes,
Yes.
we would just let him be like in a vest and diapers and just keep the room as warm as possible, to until the point where now we've started finding more comfortable clothing for him. Maybe, I'm not sure if this is an issue, but I do remember
Mm.
that being a problem for me where he would just cry. When you put Kwanzaa Kofia, even till to date, you cannot put any type of hat on him. He would just start crying. But yeah,
And
anyway,
and actually leave the hearts past newborn age tunatoa heart.
yeah. Do not
It
put a hat on
actually
your
makes them
baby.
overheat.
Okay.
It makes them overheat because that's how they release excess heat kwa
Hmm.
kichwa. So if you cover it, they sometimes overheat. So
Okay.
you can leave the heat. And Milka, I've had that story of fabric on the
Mm.
baby's skin. Mm.
Yeah, okay. So we can move to Esther's question. My baby is 4 months and he doesn't sleep at all at night. My goodness. He always sleeps during the day from 11 to 5 p.m. What can I do to change him? It's too much for me. They like their night is now day and their day is night.
You need to teach them the day and the night.
Yeah,
You
and there
need
are ways
now
we
to
can do
interrupt.
this other than lighting, that during the day keep everything bright, make sure they are a bit more stimulated during the day. I hear lots of advice like this from medics. Make sure like they know the difference. The day it's more active, there's a lot of light. At night it's dark, it's calm, it's cool. And what else would you advise here?
11 a.m. to 5 p.m. is quite a long time,
Mm,
even for a 4-month-old baby. And I think now, sometimes you could be tempted not to wake them up during this 11 a.m. to
mm,
5 p.m.
mm,
because you're tired, the baby has not slept. But you realize the more we carry it on, the more
mm,
it becomes a routine. So probably you did it for 2 days because you're like, hajalala usiku acha alale mchana. But you realize you carried it on, sasa imeshakuwa a new routine.
mm.
Yeah, so it might take a while and a bit of disruption for both of you, the baby and the you yourself and the baby. But I would say in this daytime routine, cut it a bit. Wake them up after 3 hours, feed them, try play with them, and then maybe an hour or two awake, and then you put them back to sleep again, so that by evening they still have those two breaks of waking up, sleeping, waking up, sleeping, waking up, sleeping. And during the day, let them not have that peaceful sleep that you would want them to have during the night. Like you see the way now you leave them in the bedroom, they sleep the whole time, but let them sleep probably in the sitting room where other activities going on. And in the night, you do the opposite completely. The
Yeah.
opposite completely. And also, I think you'd benefit from working with a sleep trainer. I
Ah,
may not have all the answers, but I think a sleep trainer would really, 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 really help you. Because you see now, if baby is not sleeping the whole night, they are not growing, their brain
yeah.
development, yeah, they may be lacking in a bit, one way or the other. And also you yourself, you're not like it's not okay for you not to sleep the whole night because you see, you can't tell an adult to sleep during the day like they would sleep during the night.
Okay.
So please, a sleep trainer and interrupt the daytime sleep and change the location.
Hmm.
And yes, and
Okay.
maybe if a bath time, you do a bath time, do it towards the evening.
All right. We are out of time, but Esther, we do have a sleep trainer in contact that we know. So just text your supermom in your group, and they'll be able to help you with the number of a sleep trainer that can help if Nurse Asha's suggestions do not work for you. I think we can move to the last question. The rest, I think we are able to handle them in the groups, or you can also ask your personal nurse midwife. Jacinta is asking on the topic of holding baby to sleep. What is recommended if they didn't burp? I put the baby upright for 10 to 15 minutes, even after he's burped, to avoid spit ups, and prefers sleeping on my chest.
So, on the topic of holding baby to sleep, what is recommended if the baby didn't burp? If baby didn't burp, sometimes you could be waiting for that burp sound, but
Oh.
really they didn't swallow any air.
Mm.
So it is okay if you had the baby upright 5-10 minutes
Mm.
and you're trying to wind them up, then it's okay. You can place them to sleep. We
Okay.
assume they didn't have any wind to bring up, so that is okay as long as you have actually done the actual thing of burping.
Mm.
And I put the baby upright for 10 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes is a lot, even after he's burped, to avoid spitting up, and he prefers sleeping. I think you overhauled them. limit, limit to 5 to 10 minutes.
Mm.
And don't place them too comfortably. Actually, now change your burping technique to the one over there, the thigh. The one you
Okay.
place the
Yeah,
baby
over
over the
the
thigh.
thigh. Yeah.
Oh, sleeping.
No, no, it's okay.
Ah, yeah. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
No, sorry. Ah, yeah.
Okay, so I hope you've had that, Jacinta. You can change your technique, but again, if you like 10 to 15 is a long time. They are now comfortable and they just fall asleep.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we can just finish up with the question on kofias, the hats, and then we can stop the webinar. That we've really gone way completely past time. I'm seeing people are now dropping out. You talked about newborns and hats and overheating. Could you clarify this? At what stage or age is it
Newborn.
recommended?
Past the hospital period.
Mm.
Past the
What
hospital.
is that
Mkishafika
period?
nyumbani.
Mm.
Yes, past the hospital period, because now they have established at least they can hit them. They can, in the newborn age, we say babies they are not able to generate their own heat,
Mm.
but as they grow, days go by, they are able to. And then uta realize they sweat a lot, and that's how they release the excess heat. So kimfunika and is overheat. And again, we said not putting babies to sleep with loose clothes.
Ah.
And a hat is a loose cloth that can come off anytime. So
And
that's the
also,
story about
and it
the
also shouldn't be too tight.
issue. Yes, and
Okay.
actually they even get the rash, you can notice, mpaka za
Yeah.
kichwa.
Yeah. All right.
Important of tummy time is,
Mm.
can they learn it naturally? No. You have to place them on you in the beginning before the cord falls off. After the cord falls off, you place them down. So it is to strengthen the neck and the back muscles.
Mm.
Their
Yeah.
neck is a bit loose. So the tummy time is very important. Yes, please. It's very important.
So you have to teach them L. I hope you've had that. It's not something they learn naturally. You have to start.
No, they don't learn it naturally. You
Okay.
place them on your chest, they will raise their head. That's how
Yeah.
they learn.
Yeah.
As
All
they
right.
grow, you transition to the mat.
Okay. Okay, I think we've covered just about everything. Ladies, if there is any other question you have, do not hesitate to leave it in the group or just kindly text your nurse midwife. You can also ask a supermom and we'll be able to guide you. I think we've gone way past time, but this has been awesome. I hope you enjoyed the way we did the session today. If you loved it, just again an emoji. Yes, I'm already seeing the love. If not, again, share with the feedback with us. If there is any way you want us to improve, don't hesitate to leave your feedback in the groups. Don't hesitate to text your supermom. Just say, hey, here I feel like it needs to be handled differently. We are always, looking forward to just ideas. Okay, I'm seeing the clap, so that is amazing. I had a good time. I learned a lot, and thank you so much, Nas Asha. It's really good to have
Continue.
you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay,
thanks. The
ladies.
same with you. We
Okay.
want to hear experiences.
All right. I think we've tried to cover as much as possible. We won't be able to cover everything, but we will always keep having these webinars. If you still want us to cover growth spurts, a lot has come up. I think at some point we need to handle a topic on babies and clothing, from loose clothing to kofias to onesies and rompers, what is appropriate at what stage, because I keep seeing questions on that. But for now, we have to let you guys go. It's 8:09. It's way past our time. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. This has been amazing. We're going to have another webinar on Friday. So I do hope you join us then. In the meantime, have a great, great week. Bye. Take care.